Actually, a lot of things in Pathaan is the universe conspiring.
Really?
Yeah, I believe in that for Pathaan. You cannot make a film like Pathaan if you don't have every element in the universe on your side. When he does this and comes and says Zinda hai, we knew it. We were clapping when the shot happened. Actors are very bad dialogue writers. But although Shah Rukh, I must say, is great at one-liners, I must say the Boobles line is his. So I call my films experiential. So when you come to the theatre, you get a little sense of heightened reality, but not disbelief. So you try and stay true to physics. Physics is very important.
But how, Siddharth? Hello everyone, and thank you for coming for our first director's cut. So this is an offshoot of the front row which focuses on directors, and I am thrilled to be launching this with the director who's sort of given Bollywood its groove back. With War and Pathaan, he has established himself as a leading action director. Please put your hands together for Siddharth Anand. Sid, thank you for being
awkward.
here. Why is it awkward?
Because I'm used to just being behind the camera, being that guy.
Yeah. Okay, we've all seen Pathaan?
Yes!
We've all loved Pathaan? Yes! Yeah, how many times is the question?
Twice.
Even I haven't seen it that many times.
So, Siddharth, I want to first of all begin with just saying thank you, because the joy and the euphoria that this film has given all of us, and I'm speaking here for all of us, yeah?
Wow.
It was so amazing, and I want to speak to you about that, about the art of creating the event film. Let's start from the beginning. Aditya Chopra walks up to you and says, you are in charge of the reinvention of Shah Rukh Khan as a 57-year-old action hero.
Oh.
What was your first response?
So it's the opposite actually. This was towards the end of the shoot of War. And we were starting the post of War when I had this story idea that I was developing for something after war. And around that time, I'd heard that that Shah Rukh has taken a break, and he's looking for a film that will that he would want to choose after his hiatus, brief hiatus. And in my head, I had tuned it, adapted it to him, to his personality. And then I told Adi one day that I want to do this with Shah Rukh. So he says, you mean his comeback film? So I said, yeah. And so he was a little skeptical that, yeah, I think, you know what, War looks good. I haven't said this before, but War looks good. This should be War 2. So my instant reaction was no. I want this to be Pathaan. And I had written this character as Pathaan, and I said in my mind, Pathaan was always Shah Rukh Khan. And I had in fact registered this title of Pathaan years ago. And I had spoken to him about it, Shah Rukh, and I had said that I want to do this Pathaan with you, but we never got a story actually. And he said that when you find something interesting, let's talk about it. And I love the title Pathaan. And I said, even if I never make it, this title is yours. So whenever you make a film and you want to call Pathaan, it's yours, because there's only one Pathaan for me in the industry. So he said, okay, let's think about it, let's talk about it. I got into this, and eventually I went up to him again at one point in time. I said, listen, I think we should talk to him and let's see what he thinks. So he said, are you really certain? I said, I'm 100% sure. And that after War, I want to make this film with Shah Rukh. And I'm very certain that this should be his comeback film. And I was very certain about that.
Why were you so certain?
Because I thought the joy because I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what his comeback film would be after his break. I thought the joy to present him in what I wanted to do with him would be more fun if you were seeing him after a long time and he hadn't done something like this. So if he had done an action role or something like that, I wouldn't have, that mojo goes, you know what I mean? I said, if it's comeback film I'm interested in, otherwise I'm saying we'll figure it out. And this is something I've not spoken about. And he's saying, are you certain? I said, yeah. And he went into the cafeteria, which is in YRF, and he called him up. And he said, what are you doing? I want to come see you. And he came out, okay, I'm going to Shah Rukh. I said, now? He's saying, yeah, he's free, I'm going. And he went and he spoke about the idea, what it is, told him some scenes. I wasn't there. And he said, we'll do it. Yes, I'm on. But obviously, there was no script. Yes, sir, I like the idea. So then we came back and then we worked on the script. And then post-war's release is when we reconnected and then we got engaged, and then he said, this is the film I want to do. And thankfully, he had not signed in anything else. So it's destiny, I think. They just played on like that. So the genesis actually came from me, where I was certain I wanted to do it. And that's when slowly, obviously Adi's got a universe of these characters. Then he said that let's do a crossover. Let's bring Salman over here and do this. I said, it's great, let's do it, it'll be fun. So that's how this universe came to being formed with Pathaan. Actually, Pathaan is the first crossover film in the universe.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the writing. Now, but first, just a little bit about your sort of history, your third generation Bollywood,
yeah.
Right? Your grandfather is a celebrated writer, your father's a producer. You've grown up watching Hindi cinema, big, massy Hindi cinema in single screens, right? And it's very interesting to me how you bring that sensibility, but you marry it with a sort of westernized narrative, the high octane action, the style. And so my thesis is that you are in a sense this mishran of one of your favorite directors, Subhash Ghai, and your uncle Mukul Anand.
Okay, that's a huge compliment. My favorite directors, yeah. I mean, so I'll tell you a little bit that I'm late 70s born. My upbringing has been in the worst phase of Hindi cinema, 80s. We had the worst films then. And I was a film addict. I used to just get those VHSs when they would come out at 2:30 in the afternoon. I would from school get off my school bus, go to the library and wait that VHS will come, and I will be the first person to open the packet and take it home and watch it. I don't want to name those films, but my God. Okay. So I've seen all that and like, oh my God. Those multi-starrers, those names which are like, sound like weapons. So it's like crazy. In that, I found Subhash Ghai, who used to make these films that used to make sense. Used to have scale.
Coherent screenplays.
Yeah.
Coherent.
Yeah,
that's all we were aiming for.
There was a story, there was drama, there was right emotion, there was great BGM, there was great music, there was a craft in putting the films together. And there was trolleys and dhols. I love all that. And
full on.
Like, for example, my favorite film actually is Meri Jung. I love Meri Jung. Underdog story, revenge. I love all that. And he always had this mother character. So, so a lot of that, like I took some parts of Meri Jung in most of my films. In Tara Rampam, had that piano, mother talking to the kid, singing a song, all that. So, Ram Lakhan coming back to the Haveli. Oh my God. So I love all that. Cars. I mean, he's a genius.
Cars is my all-time favorite.
There you go. So, I mean, he's an institution. Yeah. So, so that became my grounding. So, commerce, is in my veins because this is my schooling. Bad Hindi cinema. So, yeah. Then, obviously, my treatment somewhere is a little, because obviously I follow a lot of whatever everyone follows those films. But, so, I mean, I try and portray that in a language that is a little new. And I don't try and treat it the way those films were treated, otherwise it's very boring. And it's dated. I mean, so you know how. I mean, it's a language of filmmaking. So that honestly, I can't even say I've learned or I am deliberately trying to do it. It has to be inherent. And I say, like for example, even if I'm trying to choose my music, and people say, okay, your music in your films is very good. I don't take credit for it. I just feel it's natural instinct of choosing a melody that is good. And that's inherent. Like today, you tell me to become a painter. I can't become a painter. I can't go learn the art of painting or learn to play music. I can't do it. I can choose. I have a ear for that. So it's inherent. So everything is...
So this instinct, right? When you were writing Pathaan, the screenplay with Sridhar, right? Do you know the Seeti moments? Can you identify them that this is where the audience will clap?
You know, strangely, Anupama, this is my first film that I have actually designed rather for CTs. All my films are a little subtle. They're commercial, but yet they're subtle. I don't think anybody will remember any dialogues from War that are CT or Tali wale dialogues. Yeah, the scenes have that. The twists have that. Oh my God, wow. But you might not have a dialogue that is right up there for the front benchers. This just became that. And a lot of credit to Abbas, yes, for those lines. To Shah Rukh for the way he does it, for his persona. Everything became great teamwork and designed to make it a front-footed commercial mass entertainer. This is my first film for that, so I can't say I designed anything.
But you feel it in your bones ki yahan tali bajegi?
You felt it when we shot it. So when he does this and comes and says Zinda hai, we knew it. We were clapping when the shot happened.
Pathaan Zinda, yeah.
Yeah. No, the way he did it.
That's right.
The way he did it. So it was always written that he comes out of the shadows. So how do you come out of the shadows? The whole scene, because it's fully lit like this, how does he come in suddenly? So we had to put a cutter, so he's in the dark, and as he's coming, start moving the cutter, so he comes into the light. So there was a lot of amateurish filmmaking at play. So if somebody recorded that, they kya khel rahe log? But you can't see it.
But, you know, those are precisely the moments that deliver the joy.
Yeah.
Right? Which is when, I don't know, when you guys, I saw it at 8 a.m., I was telling you at Juhu PVR, and it was mental. There was just applause, there was just the joy of it. And I think what you've done is also sort of celebrate through Pathaan his superstar.
Absolutely.
Right? So you have, when Pathaan says there's a titanium disc here, that's all true for Shah Rukh.
Absolutely. I told him, please tell me what are your body parts made up of. So he did biodegradable screws. I didn't know what that is.
That's right.
He's got all that.
He's got all that in him. When you talk about the Japanese art of kintsugi, that's him as well. More precious because he's been broken.
Seriously.
You know?
Seriously.
And the last scene. That scene with Salman and Shah Rukh sitting there saying, Desh ka sawal hai, bachcho pe nahi.
Yeah, for them. And that prophecy turned out true. When they said, hame hi karna padega, and they did it.
They did it, right? Tell me when you were writing this, because this is tough to do, right, guys? This is fan service.
Yeah.
But obviously, you also have a narrative. You have a screenplay. You have a story to tell. How do you balance between the fan service and the storytelling?
Honestly, be true to the character. So our characters have been larger than life, whether it is Rajveer in Bang Bang, or Kabir and Khalid in War, and Pathaan in this, or Jim for that matter, or Rubai. They've all been a little larger than life. So when you are writing it for the actor, you try and imbibe some personality traits of the actor and then flesh the dialogues out. So that's been my process. Is I write the screenplay, we get the actor in, but don't do dialogues until the actor's not on board. I don't do dialogues till then.
So the dialogues have to match the actor's persona.
So I do dialogues last. After the actor comes in and it's all sealed, and closer to the shoot is when I start doing dialogues.
Do you bring in the actor as a sort of a collaborator in terms of just creating lines?
Not really, because actors are very bad dialogue writers. So,
even the best of them.
Yeah, they don't really do dialogue. But although Shah Rukh, I must say, is great at one-liners. He's very tongue-in-cheek. His humor, you know. So I must say the Boobles line is his. So yeah, so he's very tongue-in-cheek that way. So he came and said, "Can I do this?" I laughed. I said, "Now that I've laughed, let's do it." But let's do an alternative also.
So tell me, Siddharth, you worked with stars through your career. Your first film, Salam Namaste, had Preeti and Saif, who were already A-listers at that time. This thing of marrying the character with the persona, how difficult
it started with that.
It started with that?
It started with that. The thing is that I actually didn't want to be a director. I was an EP.
And you were happy being a producer?
Oh, you know about this?
I do know, but tell us.
I was very happy. So I was an AD, and I joined YRF as an AD, and within that film Muchhe Dosti Karoge, I became the associate director because my associate director was not doing a good job. So I got promoted to being the associate director on that film, and then that film didn't really do well, so we were all in depression. And then Kunal had this script of Hum Tum, and so he was working on it in YRF, and because I was an AD, so I used to hang over there, and then Kunal and me used to jam on it with Adi, and so I used to write some scenes and give. And obviously then I became a part of the screenplay of process of Hum Tum, and then we cast Saif and Rani, and we started shooting it. And so because I was there from the beginning, Adi said, why don't you be the EP on this also, try and manage the production of the film. So I did that. So was the associate director, the EP, and the writer, and then I cut the promos also of Hum Tum. And during that, Adi gave me my visiting card of executive producer Yashraj Films, and I held it like it was gold. So I said, my life is sorted. Now I'll have a small cabin. I'll be the EP. My life is sorted. I got married. I said, ho gaya now. Settle ho gaya. That time I was making 25,000 a month. And this was in 2004. So I said, no, ho gaya. Let's get married. So I got married. And then one day the film is nearing completion, and Adi says, Acha, now you will direct. So I said, direct? I'm not here to direct. I'm very happy being EP. No, you direct a film now. Now you direct something. Apparently, I think Saif spoke to Adi and said that I think Sid should direct a film and whatever, and I'm going to do his first film. So I said, ye kya pressure hai yaar? Now sit and direct. So I said, give me a script. He said, no, script you'll have to write. I said, what? You have to write a script also. Oh God, so that stress. So he says, no, otherwise then you can't be an EP in YRF. So I had, for my life, to save my life, I got married and now I have to become a director. So I had to think of a story and then just went crazy. So a lot of Salam Namaste, I started hanging with friends and asking them to tell me your stories, life, something. So some people had, my wife's townie friends had gone to Australia and they started living in. I said, oh, this is a nice premise. So what happened then? So I started talking to them, did they, that, all that was there on from experiences. I wrote the script of Salam Namaste.
But you learned to marry Saif's persona with the character.
So I've come into that. So that's what happens. When I knew that I am writing it for Saif, Nick is Saif. That is him. He's a guy who goes late for everything. So his introduction of him sleeping while the alarm is going, that's him. Him lying that I'm in the car is him. He's never in the car when he says I'm in the car. So everything was around Saif. So I took the easy route out and wrote it for Saif.
But have you continued to do that? Especially also as Siddharth, as the stars have just gotten more and more supersized, right? With like Hrithik in War, or now Shah Rukh in Pathaan, or again Hrithik in Fighter. Do you continue to marry persona and star?
Not really. Not so much in the writing as such, because maybe that character, that script doesn't demand that. So if you notice in Bang Bang, Hrithik is nothing like Rajveer. In fact, now that I know Hrithik better, he's become like Kabir. Are you getting me what I'm saying? There's a very thin line. He's become like Kabir. And there's a little bit of Kabir now in him. And he discovered Kabir through the making of the film. So it's the opposite, in fact. So I didn't write it for Hrithik. I didn't write it for Hrithik, and Hrithik became him. So that's the
they're leaking
dichotomy
into each
of
other.
it. Yeah, the overlap is there. It's very strange. And when you meet him, you can ask him about it. That I said this.
So that you talked about Salam Namaste. This is your 7th film.
Yes.
Some of your films perhaps haven't performed to the level you expected them to, but you've never seen a flop.
Oh, touch wood. Let's
I'm not jinxing it.
Yeah, please.
I have a question.
I'm very nervous because I thought about this before Pathaan. I said I'm not going to say it.
How do you ensure that success doesn't become its own trap?
If I keep thinking about it, it will. I'm a little carefree in the sense, see, everyone thinks success has a formula. And that's the trap, because if you have to see, commercial cinema is a lot to do with conviction, a lot to do with the maker's conviction. I mean, if a dog is going to get that letter in Hum Aapke Kaun and put it in front in the mandap, if you tell me this, I mean, how do I pull it off? No, think of another idea. But conviction of the maker. I mean, greatest films. Let's take Sholay, for example. Sholay is all about catching Gabbar. It's all about catching Gabbar. They hired to catch Gabbar. Right? There's a scene in the film where Basanti is told to dance, and Dharamji is tied up. What happens at the end of that song? Can someone tell me? What happens at the end of that song? And does what? He comes in, thang, thang, correct? What does Dharamji do? He runs and he fills his jacket with bullets, picks up the gun, sits on the horse, makes her sit on the horse, and they run away. What does Bachchan Saab do? He jumps on the mountain and sits on the horse, runs away. Why didn't Dharamji go with the gun to tell Gabbar, come on to Thakur? The whole film is to catch Gabbar, na? Chalo Thakur ke paas, but they run away. You all have not realized it till now. It's the maker's conviction because he wanted the climax. So what happens is sometimes logic has to take a back seat, and what happens is the drama overtakes logic. So yeah, I forgot why I said this, but yeah.
Okay, let's take up this thread, right? The drama overtakes logic. Obviously, a film like Pathaan is not designed to be real, right? There is no point at which you're saying, oh, this is any semblance to reality. It's a ride that you're delivering to us, and you're saying, I'm going to give you this ride, and my only promise to you is thrill, right?
Absolutely.
But even within Pathaan, right, there are points at which the over the top becomes too over the top. When do you as a maker decide that I can have the two men on jetpacks, but I can't do X? Like, what is that X that you can't do?
I'll tell you. So the thing is that because I'm trying to make the action genre, which is largely nascent in our country. So we really don't make action films. South makes action films. We really don't make action films. We're starting to make action films now. I've made 3. And every time I have tried to give the audience a little bit of an experience. So I call my films experiential. So when you come to the theatre, you get a little sense of heightened reality, but not disbelief. So you try and stay true to physics. Very important. Physics is very important.
But how, Siddharth?
So I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Now I'll tell you. Heightened reality. Heightened reality. Now if you're going to talk about the speed of the train falling and speed of them running, अब वो नहीं. Physics में you can run against it. अब वो थोड़ा heightened है. The thing is logic है इसमें कि वो भाग के jump करते हैं. अब वो थोड़ा disbelief अगर ये Fast and the Furious में होता है तो we say wow very good very good.
हमारी मैंने यहाँ भी wow किया.
नहीं, what happens is we take our films a little too seriously कि नहीं भाई अभी बताओ क्या कि हाँ ये तुम्हारा note है तुमने ये कैसे किया. अरे यार come to enjoy the film, come to get entertained.
I'm with you.
If you don't, you go to a college, pay money to learn. You don't go pay a theatre to go and learn.
Yeah.
So people have to somewhere. I don't say leave your brains at home at all. Please carry them in one part of your body, but come to get entertained. As long as, like I said, if you're invested in the drama, just leave logic a little behind. Invested in the drama, you're enjoying that. Just you have to pinpoint and say, yeah, ye kyun, wo kyun, ye kyun. Sit back and just enjoy that ride. So, like you're saying, how do you stop that pushing? You have to draw a line where it really defies physics in a way that ye kya ho raha hai bhai. So that won't happen. So whether it is the flyboard in Bang Bang or it is the jetpack over here or anything for that matter. I mean, I wanted to get a ship that breaks ice in war. Again, reality. So I had that visual that I don't want a ship in the sea. I want ice being broken. So we went to Finland and did that. So a lot of things, a newer experience to the audience, and that I've been chasing, and now I am at my wit's end. I don't know what to do next. I've done everything. So that's.
You also probably don't know where to shoot next. I mean, there are eight countries just in one film.
Yeah, if you catch the last 3 films, I think I've caught the universe.
That's right. Ab kahan jaoge?
अभी I think शोलापुर जाने वाला
Okay, tell me about locations, right? Because obviously you love locations, and it's not just because you're doing action. In all your romantic films, you've taken us on a.
I love traveling.
Yeah, you love traveling, obviously, right? How do you sort of hone in on locations that this is the right one, like that frozen lake in Pathaan, and how do you film it in a way that the camera is not just this kind of gaping tourist?
No, I mean, it needs to. I honestly, from Salam Namaste, I've looked at locations to be a character in the film. Actually, I'd written Salam Namaste for San Francisco, and we wrote it for San Francisco. I love that city. I'd never been there, but we couldn't afford it. When we got down to budgeting, we were like, "ये तो भाई औकात के बाहर है, तो तुम सोच लो क्या करना है." And that is when we zeroed in on Australia because they wanted to give us incentives and stuff like that. And Melbourne turned out to be the twin city of San Francisco. So I adapted it to that. And again, Melbourne, I would have shot in Sydney, but at that point in time, Soldier had just shot in Sydney. So I wanted to choose Melbourne. Thankfully, I got it. That met my requirements to give a little newer experience again, newer location. So that became a character. And thereon, I mean, everywhere that I went, I tried to do something which looks a little new. Like in Hey Shona that I shot in New York, what I did is emptied the streets out. Some new facets. We have Times Square empty, you have South Street Seaport empty, you have Park Avenue empty. A new visual. And Bachna Hasino shot, I mean, that Khuda Jane song we shot in like 10 places in 5 days. We've traveled, shot, sat in the bus, traveled, shot, sat in the bus. It's been mad.
So have you ever had Aditya Chopra or any of your actors say to you, "Bas yaar se"?
No. Actors come to me for this.
कहाँ जा रहे हैं?
अच्छे location में जाएंगे, अच्छा खाना खाएंगे. Yeah.
Come back to the train sequence, okay? This is of course, no, only because I loved it, right? Come on, guys, did you not lose your shit when that scarf descended? Right? Okay, so how did you design that? I mean, this is Salman's entry. First of all, I love that Shah Rukh is lying there and saying, "Give me a timeout." Okay, you're acknowledging that he's not invincible. Okay, that he's also perhaps of a certain age, right? And perhaps he does need rescuing every once in a while, right? And then that scarf comes. How did you design that?
So obviously we knew that we wanted Tiger to come into the film, obviously to get the crossover. And logically, if someone would get this opportunity, he would do it in the climax of the film. Climax mein hero banda hua hai aur wo aata hai. I was dead sure I didn't want that. I wanted the hero of the film to get his own space in the climax, to feel that he's done it himself. So I wanted to put in elsewhere, and fortunately we had that spot in Russia where we could do it. So I said, this is where we'll do it. Ab action kya kare isme? In War, I had designed an action sequence on the truck, on moving trucks, which we didn't do. And that's when I thought, let's do it now. Abhi truck thodi Russia mein chalega. So what train ho gayi. So we had seeded the idea of these two guys fighting in a moving vehicle. And so we adapted it to the train and it organically fell into place. You know, actually a lot of things in Pathaan is the universe conspiring.
Really?
Yeah, I believe in that for Pathaan. You cannot make a film like Pathaan if you don't have every element in the universe on your side. Yeah. So it just fell into place. Everything. I mean, even down to John agreeing to do this film. Pathaan wouldn't be the same without John.
Absolutely, because the villain has to be as formidable.
Yeah, the big hand for John.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, which is also a key aspect of creating these kind of films, is that you have to create formidable bad guys.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
So I mean, obviously everyone knows that you need to, like, the bad guy needs to be bigger than the good guy. So that's when his triumph will be greater. That's why you have a Joker over Batman, and that's the biggest film in the world, Dark Knight. You have Mogambo, you have Gabbar over here, you have memorable villains. And so we were aware of that, obviously. Somewhere in, I believe, the weakness of Bang Bang is in the antagonist. Somewhere in War, it succeeded because we could create a menacing tiger versus a Hrithik. So here it was obviously to create a character that a mainstream hero would agree to do. So hats off to John to agreeing to do this for playing an anti-national. So, you know, he's a guy who's a nationalist in his other films, whether it's Satyam Jayate or Parmanu or, you know, Madras Cafe. So he's a torchbearer of nationalism. And now here he is doing something which is anti-national. hats off for his vision to do it in a film that's titled Pathaan. It's not even titled War, which is neutral. So hats off to his vision. He's a smart producer. We've seen the films that he produces. They're different from when he agrees to act, but the films that he produces are really sensible. And so he saw merit in that. And really, Pathaan wouldn't be the same without Jim. Now everyone talks about Jim's spin-off, to do a prequel with Jim and Kabir, or to have a separate standoff or standalone film of Jim. So it's all credit to John.
I'm going to come to that, the wish list that we all
all will
have
have.
for what happens now. But before that, so that my sense is, because I've been, talking to people over the last 10 days since the release, right? And like you said, they're nitpicking. There is a faction that is saying that, okay, but where is the reality in this? It's too cartoonish, etc., etc. I feel like directors don't get enough acknowledgement and respect for providing pure pleasure. And that's what you've done with this film.
Guilty pleasure.
It's not a guilty pleasure. Because again, guilty pleasure, people feel like it's something that you shouldn't really enjoy. But why shouldn't we enjoy this, yeah? For me to go in there and
Have you fought for this? Please tell me you have. Have you stood for this?
Do you ever feel that pleasure is not given the respect it deserves to be?
But honestly, somewhere, I don't blame them, because we also, when we go to cinemas for other people's films, we say, "Arey, ye kya hai yaar?" So we also judge it somewhere, and I think it's human nature. As long as by and large the audience is enjoying it, I think we should submit to the choice of the audience. Eventually, I mean, I've had a lot of issues with other blockbusters that have happened lately, and I'm like, ye kyun, ya ye kyun? Theek hai na? I mean, our sensibilities are different. But then once the audience gives its verdict, they are greater than everybody.
The audience is always right?
So I'll tell you, as a filmmaker, so I mean, I don't know how many students of cinema are here. I mean, I've been making films for 20 years now. I make my films, and when I see it in my trial room, I have zero judgment. I have zero judgment, because I am so close to my film that I lose perspective, like every other filmmaker. But trust me, when you make your film and you watch your film standing in the aisle of a cinema where you have neutral audience there, you will know whether your film is working or no. It's very strange. It's very strange, oh shit, this scene is not working. Oh shit, this scene is outstanding. Oh shit, why didn't I think of that? You will get that feeling when you stand in the aisle in a cinema. The vibe of the audience talks to the filmmaker. Audience knows it before anybody else. And they know it. They smell a good film. Look at the advances of Pathaan. It's not that Pathaan is a sleeper hit or is suddenly aa gayi beech mein se. They can smell it, whether it's Drishyam 2 also, for example. I mean, you knew it before the first day that it's going 10 plus. When films are not barely touching double digits, it's 15 or 16 on the first day. Audience is very smart.
Speaking of numbers, are you keeping track?
I've lost. I mean, 12 बजे एक नंबर होता है, 4 बजे एक और रिकॉर्ड टूट जाता है, बाद में स्लीप कुछ और हो गया, सुबह अरे ये भी हो गया. So I mean I keep reading. Someone just sent me thousands of records he's got. Thousands of records कैसे होते हैं भाई? Thousands of records क्या होता है? So someone sent me a list of pages and names of records is broken. So it's crazy. I've lost track.
Is it important, Siddharth, to some way disconnect from the noise?
How to? Why to?
You shouldn't.
Why to?
Why to?
Enjoy it. I mean, honestly, this is once in a lifetime, yeah. I mean, I don't know how many filmmakers have experienced this twice. I don't know historically. I don't know, maybe Raj Kapoor has. I don't know. I don't know how many people. Raju Hirani experiences every third day. So largely common people experience it once in a lifetime. So I think enjoy it, yeah.
Let's go back to the film. One of my favorite scenes was that one where Pathaan is walking down the hallway while Dimple...
The bullet shot.
The bullet shots, you know the one I'm talking about, right? He's walking down, these people are killing themselves. And you don't show us that, you show us his face and him flinching every time he hears it, which was just wonderful and so moving. How did you think of staging it like that?
So that was obviously, that's again cinematic craft that Liberty used, because we didn't want to show. The debate was, after she shoots herself, we'll have him walking, then we'll see the gun on the floor, some other hand picks it up, and then you hear the shot, and then you see a bullet, the gun fall in. Bullet, did I say? Gun. Then pick up the gun. So I said, no, let's do it in one shot. And I said, let's let him walk and react to it. He said, how will I react to it? So I said, we'll do a Steadicam shot, and I'll stand next to Steadicam as it's walking, and I'll do the clap. So I would stand and just react to the clap hard. Because first time he did it, he didn't get the timing of it. She said, I need to hear something. So I just, tak, and he would react to it. When he's least expecting it, I would clap it. So it would be like and a lot of it actually is his performance, honestly. I mean, he's all heart, yeah, and you know him. So it just, he felt it, and his eyes, and he's so good in emotion and love. So it was a combination of that. So it just came out, and it turned out special.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
It's one of my favorite shots.
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful shot. You know, this film has also, of course, generated 1,000 think pieces. Okay. About, what it says about this moment in history, the politics, how it speaks to the zeitgeist. As an artist, do you pay attention to all of it? Are you reading what's being written? Are you also a little bit sort of amused by some of the, because we want to read 1,000 things into it. What is your, take on that?
So, firstly, I'm not on social media, and I try and keep the noise away as much as I can. And honestly, because it's Shah Rukh, it attracts a lot of other things. So, you have to keep a filter and focus on the film and not get distracted along the way. And also, in a way, fortunately, we were in the post of the film and all the noise that was happening outside. We were heavily into the post of the film, so we could distract ourselves. But I can imagine people getting sucked into it and all the noise and getting affected by it. It can, but also we knew that there's nothing to it. It's all just conjecture and speculation and unnecessary attention. So we could put it aside.
Yeah, you managed to do that.
We had to. Yeah. We had no choice. We had a release coming up. We were not ready.
Let's talk about the wish list. Okay, that's out there.
Okay.
I know obviously you can't tell us anything about where it goes from here.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you about things I've read and tell me whether you think it's exciting or
Why
not.
Give me ideas.
Yeah, just ideas, exactly. So one thing that I thought was just fab, all right, that Tiger, Kabir, Pathaan, in
all
one film,
them.
all three in one film, against whom? A villain played by Rajinikanth. Come on.
How will they win? How will they win? They'll need another Rajinikanth with them.
Okay. Then there was one about the origin story of Nandini. Can we figure out how Dimple's character got to where she did?
Wow, prequels, huh?
Prequels. Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be fun. I think just to see even Pathaan's equation with her initially, all that will be nice. I think a very warm relation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact that role wasn't written for her. That role was written for Kumud Mishra. Yeah.
When did you change the gender?
Just before we made the call to him. I happened to see Tenet the night before we were going to make the call.
How fantastic is she?
She was fantastic. I said, oh my God, why don't we change it and and make it her, because she'll add a sense of warmth to Shah Rukh. Shah Rukh's equation with women is just fantastic. So I mean, to just reduce the alphabet of the film, have a woman there, a mother-son equation, he would just kill it. So that's when we made the call to Dimple next morning. Yeah, and fortunately she agreed, and she's so beautiful in the film.
She is so lovely.
She's so wonderful.
Yeah. I was a bit bummed when she died.
Yeah, but that is nice, no? That you've invested in the character. I mean, it's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Okay, another theory, of course, is Zoya and Rubai.
Okay.
Okay?
The Paki agents.
The Paki agents. Two hot as hell women kicking ass all over the world.
I want to make that film.
I want you to make that film. Do we want you to make that film?
Yeah, we should do that. That next.
Henna?
That's exciting.
What are you? Do you have anything in your head that you could share with us?
Really? It's only 9 days since this film has come out.
Like, just,
No, I mean, there's going to be a lot of fun. I think the next few years is going to be so exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, you can create a younger agent and have someone cross over there. I mean, there's so much plethora of possibilities.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really exciting. In the next few years, is really exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love that Rubai was such a lethal weapon.
Yeah, she did it so well.
She did it so
I think everybody,
well.
like I said, everyone had to contribute to make this film what it is.
Yeah.
It just couldn't be a couple of people's talent and luck. It had to be everybody's energies coming together to get this.
This film has also sort of broken the myth that Hindi films don't cross over to other markets within India.
Yeah. Or overseas. For example.
Yeah. But tell me about the India thing. How do you think, because it's always a South film coming to the north, but it doesn't travel necessarily. Our films don't travel south.
Yeah.
How do you think Hindi cinema can sort of figure that out better?
You know, honestly, I think it has figured it out with this film, because I was telling somebody the other day that South is watching Pathaan, but they're watching it in the Hindi language. They are not going to see the Tamil and Telugu language. They're watching it in Hindi. So the audience that you're expecting to go watch the regional language, they're watching it in Hindi. That explains the numbers we're getting from the South. So we've already crossed over. It's just that we're not recognizing it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they are watching it in Hindi. So.
Okay, I'm going to open it up to the audience, but one last question.
Yeah.
In some interview I read, you had said that what you would love to do is make a love story with Hrithik.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, I shouldn't say it, but okay, I can't say it. Yeah.
Come on, say it.
No, I think Bhansali makes amazing love stories. And so when he was making a film that didn't happen, I was telling Hrithik, yeah, man, just call him, just do that film. Yeah. It'll be amazing. I would love to see Hrithik in a love story directed by Bhansali.
Yeah.
It'll be amazing.
Is your romance with love stories done?
I don't have a story. I mean, I used to only, I was very good at, thinking of ideas and conflicts in love stories. But in the last 10 years, romance is dead. I have only action things going on in my head. I'm just hoping someone comes up with a story that has a conflict. What conflict can one do in a love story today? I'm just waiting for that. So, anything, any conflict. I'm dying to do a love story.
Really?
I'm dying to do a love story. But I have only guns and tanks in my head right now.
Good.
And trains.
We like it. Okay, guys, let's get some questions. You get to pick out names and call them out.
Oh, awesome. Who wants to ask?
Everybody wants to ask. That's
What's
why
your
you
name?
have to pick them out.
Anish Makhija.
Sir, first of all, congratulations for Pathaan.
Thank you, Anish.
So, my question for you is, if you were to collab with of course, Indian action is doing great with you, but if in case you were to collab with a Hollywood action hero, who would that be and why?
Hollywood action hero, I think it would be only Tom Cruise, yeah.
How cool would that be?
Yeah, please send this message here.
Action king.
Maverick
Please air
and
it over
Pathaan.
there. Please send this message there. Aisa kara do yaar. I mean, he does all his stunts. He's so amazing. He just pushes filmmaking to the extreme. There'll be a joy. I mean, yeah, next life.
Pick out another.
Can I take any name? कोई ना कोई तो होगा यहाँ पर. Oh, this is a nice name. Rumani Agnihotri.
Thank you so much for the beautiful gift that Pathaan is.
Oh, my pleasure.
What was it directing?
Shah Rukh?
Yeah, what was it like directing Shah Rukh?
Oh, Shah Rukh is not a human being. Okay, so I've been lucky to have directed a lot of actors and superstars. So Shah Rukh is somebody who's once on set. I'm sure you know this and experienced it. So once he's on set, he keeps sitting there. So you can turn around, he's sitting over there and tell him, sir, can you come and do the over shoulder shot also and give the reaction to the guy whose shot it is. He'll come and do that, whoever it is. He'll say, no, let me do it, and then, okay, done, I'll go and sit over there. If you need me, call me. So I'll get down to shooting the shot, and I'm lost in the shot, whatever, taking the takes, okay, retake, whatever I've done, okay, I don't need you, sir, sit down, okay. Suddenly he'll tap me and turn around, he's still there, says, yes, sir, can I go to the loo and come sit? And I'm like, you can't be asking me this, just go. So it's the smallest of things that make him so special. Things like, when it's pack up, he'll go and individually thank everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So everybody just wishes so well for him. And he's so nice. He's just so lovely. I mean, I haven't met somebody like this in my life. Yeah.
I think Shah Rukh is love.
It means love. Absolutely.
Love.
It's just too much love, yeah. Kushal.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hey.
First of all, congratulations for the film. And
Thank
like
you,
the
Vishal.
first thing, right before the film, you said in the press conference that you were like, dil ka dhak dhak ho raha tha. Even all fans, I think, I was not able to sleep all night. I'm like,
Wow,
kal
man.
subah 7 kab bajenge? Jaake subah film dekhni hai. So that was an amazing thing. And so I'm a film student as well. So, sir, my question for you is that, like, as we all know, you started making rom-coms at the start of your career and switched massively to action films. One thing you said, which remains common from rom-coms till the action films, is that you try to marry the persona of the actor and the character together.
Yeah.
Is there something else which you feel is the same at the core of you as a filmmaker? And what do you think has changed and evolved in you in all these years, like in these 20 years that you've been making films?
I mean, my conviction stays the same. I'm still that commercial guy. I mean, we had a time where because of the pandemic, things changed in terms of the content we consumed, content the country consumed. So there was also a time in between 2017 and 2019 where content-based films were doing 100+ crores and the tentpole films were tanking. So I stayed true with what I believed in. Because I don't consider myself a great filmmaker, first of all. So I consider myself an audience first. So that conviction I have, that if I'm watching this film in the theater, I'm going to enjoy it. I stuck true to that. And also, what's important is when you start making a film, the journey of the film is so long. You have to always come and question why you decided to make that film. What was that story that excited you? Because after a point in time, you'll find it boring. You will find it, but remember when you heard it first, when you thought of it first, you found it exciting. So you need to keep going back to that and staying true to that conviction. If during the way you start muddling with it and you start saying, isko add kar do, yahan par ye kar do, is when you destroy the narrative. So just conviction, very important. Like I said about Suraj ji when he made Hum Aapke Kaun, or anything for that matter, conviction is very important. And if you're convinced, then you'll convince the world. So don't let that shake.
And so what do you think has changed in these 20 years in your journey as a filmmaker? Like anything which you feel you have evolved or there's been a transition, anything?
Nothing, yeah. Nothing, yeah. I'm the same guy. I can make Salam Namaste again. Give me a story, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
One more?
Yeah?
Okay, can I ask one more?
Okay, let me see. Anupama.
Because I forgot to ask.
Okay.
You have to tell us about the hero entry.
Hero entry?
Yeah. How do you
You've been dying to ask this question.
I've been dying to ask this question. I can't believe I didn't ask this
Oh,
before.
God.
But how do you design the hero's entry?
Okay. The hero's entry. So this hero entry thing started with Bang Bang. Obviously, when we had to introduce Hrithik, and then I came up with this idea of in the dark and pushing the diamond up, and with the lightning suddenly seeing him. So that became whatever hero's entry, what you call it. It stems from the scene. Nothing more. It's not designed from out of the script. It's within that scene. Just the pressure is always there, obviously, because you have to beat that. So Kabir became a landmark entry. Kabir in War became a landmark entry. And
I would say the greatest exit out of a helicopter after Shah Rukh Khan in
K3G. But you know, but the best part is there was no helicopter. It was a piece of wood. I hope I can show you all the making someday to see. It was a plank of wood.
No,
like
no,
so
don't take
thin.
away the magic.
So imagine that's what filmmaking is. And the thing is, imagine you're making a film like War, which is Hrithik versus Tiger, and Tiger's entry is a one-shot action sequence where he comes and beats up people in one shot. And Hrithik is what? Coming out of a chopper and just walking. So Hrithik was also like, yeah, this is my entry. I'm just going to walk out of a chopper. So, and his entry actually was a sniper shooting in the beginning of the film. And I was convinced that I don't want to show him in that. I want to treat him with his eyes, his lips, his fingers, his ears, all that. So I didn't want to show him in that sequence at all. I wanted to show him afterwards, coming out of the chopper. Fortunately, it just fell into place. It just fell into place. We started shooting it and the shots became great. And it took an entire day, just his walk. From morning till sunset. So when you see the last, there's one shot which is an iconic shot of him where he's walking and he turns to the camera. You see his biceps where he's turned to the camera, which is everywhere it plays. Do you know how I took that shot? We had packed up. And the sun had set in Film City. And I saw the sun ka rays, यहाँ पर shadow हो गया था, but sun का rays वहाँ पर था. I said, Hrithik, one last shot. Let's take one shot. I got the cameraman. I said, run with the steady cam. And we ran over there. And he also ran with me. I said, go into the sun, go into the sun. Okay, now walk. Okay, turn. Okay, now turn. And we took that shot as the last section. Because somewhere I felt, यार, एक magic shot नहीं मिला मेरे को. एक magic shot नहीं मिला. So it's again inherent. There's no science to it. And when you ask him again, ask how do you take that shot, which is the main shot of him turning to camera. So it's just, and flag shot. That flag is in post. I think imagine यहाँ पर एक flag होगा, and just walk and we'll put a flag over there. So just walking, the flag fluttering, it's all post, it's a digital flag. So it just happens, yeah. And then Shah Rukh's entry, obviously, and this was scripted.
You had to.
This was scripted.
After 4 years, he's back on screen.
This was scripted. So, so that again turned out well. His hair, through his hair, you see him, then he comes into the light. So that is scripted. That whole thing was scripted. Now the pressure is on fighter for again. So the pressure is back. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, thanks. Someone share it. Tell me how to do it.
One last question.
Parth Kapoor, come on.
Hi. Thank you for bringing Shah Rukh Khan back to screen, and we waited a lot. And my question is, my actual question was, will you come back to rom-coms? But you answered it.
Yeah.
And
So done?
No. How do you design your action scenes? Because even in Tara Rampam, that race sequence is different. Bang Bang, it's different. How do you design every time a new action scene?
So I'll give you an example of how I design action scenes. So I try and obviously do something which is a little different. I'll give you an example of Bang Bang. In the second half of Bang Bang, they are on an island and the goons attack and they have to run from there. Obviously, it was written in the script as a jet ski chase. So when you're writing a script, you let it go, but when you get down to actually designing the action is when you start thinking what to do. So when we got down to planning it for the shoot in Thailand, when they said, okay, we need about 6 jet skis and those motorboats and stuff like that, I said, no, I can't do it. This is a script. We have to design the action. So I have a team that actually does this for me, does R&D on tech, on gadgets and stuff like that we can use and push things. So the specific thing was on water, what can we do new? So we found the thing that she uses, Katrina uses, which can go underwater and come out also. And for Hrithik, that flyboard was a novel thing that time. So we have to chase a guy, find a guy from Australia and fly him down to Thailand to do that for us. So R&D, the jetpack. The jetpack again was something that was invented in UAE and Emirates had funded it. And so we found out about the guy who invented the jetpack is a guy who stays in Switzerland. So I had some line producer go to his house in Switzerland and meet him to find the tech. So I do some crazy stuff like this. Because again, science, like I say, physics, okay? So we try and find the sources of this and do it. So now everything is basically a lot of R&D and stuff, so that you can get newer experience in whether again like a car chase. There's a car chase in war. Car chase नहीं कर सकते यार जो करना है, so we have to do it. Let's do it in the Arctic. We went actually to the Arctic. So when my crew went to the shoot, there's a big sign, you are now entering the Arctic Circle. जैसे होता ना नोएडा 4 किलोमीटर. It was written, you are entering the Arctic Circle. So you actually went into the Arctic and shot that car chase in war. Bike chase. Again, bike chase. Bike chase I wanted, so it leads to, I'll give you an example, it leads to a lot of inventions. I wanted to shoot the bike chase in war as a high-speed bike chase, but on mountains, which is very dangerous. So actors can't do it. The stunt people have to do most of it. And if the stunt people do it, they said we will wear helmets and do it. But then how will I put my actor on it? So we invented a machine called, we found a machine called the Bolt, which actually can replace the actor's head onto that, replace it with the helmet. So that technology was used and brought in from London. So it's all, I mean, to give you guys that experience so you can enjoy this. So you can ask me this question. There's a lot of
there's a lot of work
that goes on, yeah.
Well, Siddharth, thank you. And please keep giving us great experiences.
Thank you.